Okay, so my storage got full, so I had to go through the change, corrections and delete stuff. But anyway, so I left off at how Mary was coming up to me so much, coming out towards me so much, and so after that initial engagement spiritually, all spiritual. This is 100% spiritual, energetically. So after the recognition, it was the soul recognition. I laid down that night, and all of a sudden I felt this pain in the center of my chest, and it was like a twisting. And in my spiritual sight, I could see like a bank vault that was being twisted. And I like to use the example of Iron Man, you know, the light that came from his chest. Well, instantly, it was like once the vault opened up, there was a quick exchange between two light energies. One quickly left me and another quickly entered. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I can see it in spirit, the exchange between the souls. It wasn't that it was leaving. It was an exchange of now it's opening. It's a connection. We've never been separate, is what I just learned today. I couldn't understand when I was just talking about the little girl. I said, how do I know this little girl? How do I see images of us being young girls, 5 together, and then I see another image, we are teenagers. And I wrote about that on one of my posts too, where we were in high school and I was new to the class and she was already in the classroom and she was sitting with her girls, and it was like the last period before we all go, I don't know if it was summer break or whatever. But anyway, in this vision, she's in the classroom and she's looking in my direction and we catch eyes, but I put my head down because I didn't want anybody to notice me. I'm the new girl. So when the bell rang and we left the class, I went to the locker, and while I'm at my locker, Mary comes to the locker and she hands me a note. I don't open the note. I just put it in my pocket, and she says, meet me at the bleachers. So the next scene I see is we're at the bleachers. She's at the bleachers and I'm coming to meet her. But before that, they was like, Mary, you coming? And she was like, no, I'll catch up with y'all later. So it was a switch in the scene. So I saw this like a while ago, and I was like, what does this mean? So while we're on the bleachers, we are engaging as lovers, but it's this big black screen that opens up like the theater, and we're watching it in the sky. And in the vision, it shows a whole scene of all of our lives together. And I was like, wow. So I've seen us in many lifetimes on a black screen that looked like a theater screen. Now check this part out. Mary just recently had her Mary concert last year. Was it November 2025? She had the concert movie, and I talked about that, and I shared that whole story. That had a time lapse happen there where the world was going and I was frozen in time. And then I just watched people, my phone had frozen. So I'm trying to call my Lyft and I couldn't get it. And I'm standing in the middle of the floor, in the middle of where I'm at. And I'm watching everybody just walk by and they're talking. It was kind of like the scene from Life when Martin was going to pick up the guy that put them in jail. And he's looking at the world because it was so different from when he first went in. And then he came out and he's looking and everybody's just walking around. Everything's so different. Well, it was kind of like that. But this was happening in the physical for me just before I went to the movie theater. So in other words, I was redirected. Time froze. And I was redirected from the original place I was going. So I ended up buying 2 tickets because where I was heading to, I had missed that show. And so while I'm sitting in the lift, I hear Spirit say, order the other one, order. It was like a pressing. Because at first I was like, well, do I just go back home and, just miss it? And it was like, no, order it. So I ordered it. And the amazing thing about that is everything went smooth. It was like as if all that stuff that happened prior to that, it was nothing. Like traffic was super heavy. It was on a Friday, I believe. So traffic was super heavy out there on the strip. So I was like, how the heck am I going to make it from this location? And I only got like 15 minutes. Well, in the video that I posted, I said I had finally made it and I had time to spare. That is how time lapses. Those are timeline shifts. That's what a timeline shift is. Time froze so that I can get to my destination at the time I was supposed to be there. Because why? While I was sitting in the theater, I wasn't sure where my seat was. I was like, damn, I really want to sit in the front. But I don't like to sit down in the bottom. I know y'all don't like to either when you're looking up at the screen. No, I didn't want to sit there. I wanted to sit in the middle. I had an idea of where I would like to have sat. But my ticket didn't tell me any of that. When I got into the theater, I mean, everything blurred out. It was as if I was sitting in the middle of the screen, which I was. I had an opportunity to sit right in the middle where I visualized myself sitting. And not only was I watching the movie, it was as if I was watching the same movie that we was watching in the sky. It was so amazing. I said, this is the same setting, except I'm watching Mary on the stage. That's the only difference. The scene was set the same exact way. And so what that told me is that, you know how people say deja vu tells you that you're in that exact time that you're meant to be in? Well, that's what it was. It was now our connection in timelines. Because what happened was, in the beginning of the year, she had a concert, the For My Fans tour. I heard about it in December of 24. And I was like, oh, Mary's going to be in Vegas. Because this was another play up to everything. Her original schedule didn't have Vegas on there. So I said, well, Mary's going to be on a tour. How am I going to meet her? You know, she's not even coming to Vegas. She's coming to Vegas. So I was trying to find excuses. See, I was getting scared. This is the person that I've been waiting to meet my whole life. Not celebrity, person, my soulmate, the little girl I was playing with, my teenage crush, my first love. I'm waiting to meet this person. So when Spirit says you are going to meet her, and I said, okay. So everything was pre-planned. My outfit was bought back in July of 24 when I first moved out from my brother's house. Excuse me, my outfit was laid. Everything was laid. I went and got my hair. It's so amazing. That's why I say I get so lost trying to tell y'all how all this stuff played out, because I'm like, one thing led to another that connected to this. So I'm going to try to slow it down. So after I moved into this place, which was in July, I was planning for something that I didn't know I was planning for. So by the time December hit, it was the concert announcement. So when she announced the concert, it didn't have Vegas on there. So I was like, okay, I ain't gonna get to see her. I'm hearing in spirit that I am. But I was like, So when she said we added new tour dates and new locations, I'm like, okay, Vegas is on there. Ooh. I said, okay, well, I'm only gonna go if I go VIP. I ain't been to a concert since 30 years ago. My first concert, was the Candy Rain tour with Soul For Real, Mocha Steph, Immature. And I had concerts in between there, but that was my first big concert. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to a concert. So, but I remember going to the concert and all these people up. I was like, I don't do concerts no more. So I told my spirit team, I said, I'm not going unless I go VIP. So Mary announces that she's never had a VIP section in her concerts in all the years that she's been touring. And I was like, okay, this is getting like, whoo, right? So then I said, all right, y'all got me too. Y'all got me. I said, the price got to be right. I'm not paying more than probably, $500, right? It was on budget. I was like, damn, but I ended up paying another $100 because of the taxes or whatever additional. But I had whatever amount I needed to pay. It could have been $1,000. It would have been fine. But I was doing the prices. I'm playing with my spirit team, right? They're like, what you want to do? What we gonna do? So that's the kind of fun you have too, by the way, people. When you are connected with the divine, it is not that, oh, holy night. It is not that. Don't let people tell you that you got to be praying 100 times a day just to hear God. God heard you the first time, okay? As a matter of fact, he will prefer for you to just talk to him and just be cool. That's how I know. That's how I feel like when I see people with like praying and oh Lord, this and that, and I was like, that's how we have to be. I used to ask that when I was a kid because I was like, I just talk to God all the time. And so anyway, so I go back and forth with my spirit team. I talk to my archangels, my holy angels. I mean, everybody. It's a Holy Ghost party on a regular basis for me. Okay. So anyway, I was like, I want to pay this amount. And it was like, okay. I was like, for real? And that's how it worked out. So I had the outfit, I had the everything. And the last minute accessories I had to buy, I went on Amazon. Oh yeah, by the way, y'all, that looked like I was expensive laid up. I'm gonna tell you this, I'm not one to be ashamed. I had my bling and I was looking clean, okay? I'm the type that will bargain shop. I'm not cheap. I will pay money for something that is worth it. If it's valuable, I love investing. So if it's worth investing, I'm going to put some money on it. But if I can get some little things and make it look like it is what it's not, oh yeah, I'm cool. So anyway, I went on Amazon and I found that watch. That watch was bad. It was straight blingy. I think I paid like $40 for it. It looked like $1,000 watch. The hat, for under $20. The jacket, Walmart. I mean, I can tell you how cheap that outfit was. But the way I accessorized that shit, man, it was just beautiful. I said, damn, I was just putting stuff together because, again, I was partially believing that this was really going to happen. So, oh, and by the way, yeah, I pretty much gave away everything. I still kept the watch, but that's why I said I knew I wasn't going to wear it but one time, so I didn't invest in anything. That's the reason why I told y'all that. I still got my hair. Shit, I kept my hair. That was cute. And then y'all see how I rock the fro right now. I can slap my wig on and it look just as good. I love to throw these little intricate details because I want people to understand that it's not about presentation for other people. What makes you feel good? If you can throw some shit together that costs you $100 and it look like 100,000, go do that shit. Stop worrying about what people think. Oh, that ain't a real chain. So what? I'm wearing it. It's mine and it's blinging. Now, somebody else can wear all that jewelry. If they can afford it, hey, that's your business. But see, that's the problem too. Authenticity does not come from external validation. Authenticity is, I feel good, I look good, and I'm going to rock whatever I feel like it. So, again, all that I had on, your girl was looking good. And I can look good on a budget because that's the way I learned how to live. And I thank God Almighty for this time that I've been going through this because I had nothing at one point. I gave away completely. I gave away everything. I had one suitcase and that wasn't clothes. That was my books and my poster and stuff for my promotional idea. Like in my mind, I was having a promotional tour. But whatever I was expecting, that's what was in that suitcase. I had the outfit on my back and I had to buy the clothes that I bought that was from Walmart. And then I bought these later, like Walmart t-shirts and stuff like that, just to keep me clothed. But I don't go out. I don't do anything. I don't have a reason to buy unnecessary things. So because of all of this, this was also a part of my journey. You know, you get a little bit and God sees how much you can be trusted with it. If you get a lot, that's you fumble it, then that's on you, you know. You can't say God didn't bless you with what you asked for. So that's another key thing to learn when you're in your spiritual seasons of drought. It's not actually drought. It's learning how to not only financially invest in yourself, but not only emotionally invest in yourself, it's financially too. Because responsibility is responsibility, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and financially. So when you're taking care of your well-being, it's all inclusive. So yeah, you'll have some times when you struggle, you looking broke, and you know, I'm looking broke, but I don't give a shit because I know I'm not broke. I'm wealthy, okay? I am hella wealthy. And the thing is, I can now share this wealth by talking to y'all about things that I've gone through. So now I'm gonna go back to the concert. So I get to the concert, you know, because everything was in alignment. So I bring my book, and I had written on Mary's page. I told her, tried to give her a heads up, because I didn't know if they was going to let me take my book or not, because they, strict on not having nothing in there. So I get my book through, and I'm in my front row seat. I'm like, oh shoot, the concert was live. Mario and Neo, they did the damn thing. And then when Mary came out, oh gosh, the crowd went crazy. I could no longer see. I couldn't even shoot a video, nothing. But the thing was, I wasn't there for that. I wasn't there for that. This particular reason for me being there was for soul activation. What that means is, I was already spiritually aware of who she was. I was already shown everything about her. I know her soul. She did not know me. And she probably still doesn't. But we needed to lock eyes. We needed to make a soul activation happen. So that was the reason why I was at the concert. But I didn't know that. I thought, just as my spirit team was showing me, that this was the time I was going to meet my soulmate. So I'm so excited. And pause. I feel like my nose is running. I'll keep doing this, and I know it's distracting. But my spirit team showed me that was going to be the time that we met. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm about to meet my soulmate. It didn't happen like that. And as a matter of fact, when she said her last song on the set, she went down, and I waited around to meet with her, and her director, not the music director, the guy that's over the choreography. I had his name down, I forgot. But anyway, he was supposed to go back and talk to her for me. But I don't know what happened, but then something clicked. Something happened for me that night. I said, hold on. Why am I seeking Mary? I don't seek anybody anymore. That was a lesson for me. That's what my spirit team did for me. I am not a fan, and here I am falling into the same old patterns, chasing people. If she was aware of my presence, then she would have called for me. Just as I envisioned that was supposed to happen. The security was supposed to come get me, alert me that at the end that I was going to meet with her. That's what I was shown in the spirit. But see, we also have free will. So if one person is not ready, then it's not going to happen. This is a divine connection, so it's not about making things happen in the physical. No, God is orchestrating this union. So by my presence being there, it activated our soul connection. That's all that was necessary. But in the process, I learned that you are no longer in the energy of seeking other people who are supposed to seek you. Not saying she is. I'm saying that in general. I've now received my crown. I've now reclaimed my position. Things flow to me now. I manifest. Everything comes to me. I'm in receiving energy. See, that's the difference between masculine energy and feminine energy. It's not man and woman. It's energies. The masculine energy makes things happen. They're the worker bees. They like to be active. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta do, gotta do. They logically plan things. They do things in the physical. They're physical beings. Feminine energy receives. You receive divine instruction, you move accordingly. But you actually don't move. You attract things. And then the masculine energy is what... So it's not saying just because you're in feminine energy, you can't operate from your masculine. No. It's saying that you receive first, and then you do. If spirit doesn't tell you to move, then don't move. When you're in masculine energy, all you want to do is move. That's why the masculine and feminine energies have to be balanced, because you can't always go, go, go and do. And you also can't just sit back and let things just happen. You have to do things too. So they work in tandem. This goes beyond a man and a woman, although the genetic makeup of a man and woman is primarily masculine, primarily feminine. But energy shifting happens all the time. God is not a he. God is an energy. But we refer to God as a he for imagery. We know that Jesus came from God. That's his son. But when we in the spirit thinks about God, we use the divine. We say this, we say spirit, or we use his name, Yahweh. But in all actuality, Mother Nature and God is all things in the universe. So it's really no separation. So when people are trying to define one thing over another, you cannot do that. So when I say I am who I am, that means I am who I am from the great I am. I don't define myself based off of who I am in the physical. Yes, I'm a woman, I'm black, and some call me a lesbian. I'm not a lesbian, I'm not black, and I am physically a woman in body. But in my mind, I'm just one of everything. I connect with the earth. So I walk with the presence of the divine. So when you let go of the titles and you let go of the imagery and expectations of everybody else, now you're in the flow of life. We stop looking for time to do this, time to do that. You just flow. It's like a menstrual cycle. You can't control your menstrual cycle. It just comes on a clock, on a spiritual clock. And that's what I decided to become. So after my 44th birthday, I said, my time will end when I start counting my birthdays. I am no longer going to say I'm 45 years old. I am this, because as I'm saying that, I'm now declaring that I am on a timeline that is not from the divine. I don't know if that makes sense. I'll discuss that later, but I'm going to get back to Mary, because this is also another part of my journey. And the reason why I'm here is to do work with my counterpart. So back to that. After the concert, I had to learn many more lessons. So that basically opened the door to say, you have to do more learning of how to love self. So I started getting so wrapped up in Mary. Oh, everything was Mary J. Blige. She's doing this, she's doing that. Where is she? Where is she? My counterpart. And that's why she couldn't have been revealed to me any sooner than now, because I was in that same energy. I give so much to the person I love. I focus so much on somebody I love. I wouldn't have had half the experiences of my life had I known who my soulmate was too early in my life. I would have been trying to go to every concert. I would have been trying to meet her. I would have been I know me. I would have been trying to make things happen when I wasn't supposed to. So where we are now, energetically, we're in union. And the reason why we've been able to come into union is because I, as the feminine energy, have been able to unionize with myself. My masculine energy and my feminine energy has come together. In the physical, she is my masculine energy. But if she and I never get back together, I will still be able to maintain myself as a whole. That's what the counterpart does. It's a physical manifestation of self. So if you're incomplete, you'll never find your soulmate, because you're not ready to be one with yourself and invite them. See, I wrote on there, one of my posts, I said you're 98% whole, and your soulmate adds the 2%. That means you're 49% in your masculine, 49% in your feminine, and then they have that 1% masculine, 1% feminine that adds to you. So it's like building something. You can build the whole foundation, but you still need that other person somewhere in there. You can have all the riches and glory, but who are you going to share it with? So therefore, you have to make space for someone, but before you make space for them, you have to be complete within yourself. So that's what Mary and I have been doing energetically. What I'm doing for myself is what she's doing for herself. So when you hear her speak, that's what's happening on this end. I'm the background music in her story, and she's the background music in mine. So now let's go back. After the concert, that was March to November when I went to see her movie. Now from November into December of last year, I went through another spiritual level, and this level up solidified everything. That was the greatest Christmas gift I could ever get. It gave me an ending to everything. So it said, you are now officially Goddess Aset. I've been striving to become. I'm her now because I learned all the lessons, not only about myself, but I learned the lessons in love. And through Mary, I've been able to overcome my shortcomings of insecurities, of self-confidence, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-worth. You look at it. The biggest thing, tell me why. Why would I feel like that? You pick the biggest star in the world and tell me that's my person? Oh, hell no. I don't have no money. I ain't glamorous. I was quick to dissemble myself because look at who I'm being matched with. But guess what? What did I say earlier in my video? Nobody can match me. She has the physical attributes that I need in order to be physically recognized. But I already have my spiritual attributes. When I said I'm wealthy already, I'm physically well. I'm abundant in my life. I have no need for anything. But she's the level up to where I am destined to go. So if I'm supposed to get to that level, I need to have a person that's already there. So the bridge happens. It's not that I want anything from Mary. I mean, I don't look at it like, oh, I'm going to get this. I'm not that type of person. And that was my biggest fear too. I'm like, you know what? This woman has been through a lot with people. You know, all these goddamn people over here wanting shit. Excuse me, I'm just cussing now because I was like trying to hold it. But it really pissed me off when I realized that it was so much that we had in common that I had to sympathize. I just had to say, you know what? Get it together. Stop worrying about what you don't have and who she is in the world. Because if that's your person, she's going to know who you are just as well as you know who she is. And so when I keep looking at the time. And so when I got to the point where I realized that I'm not in competition with anybody, I don't have to feel selfless of anything and just really appreciate this connection and move forward. That's what happened. When I changed the way I saw this whole connection, that's when everything else changed for me. So now I see her as my equal. I see her as my counterpart. Because it's not about the status in the world. It's about who God called us both to be. How we're supposed to work together and create this unity. How we're supposed to present ourselves to the world. We have the same common mission. And I'm about to get to that. And because I'm so worried about this timing. I've never spoken this long. Everything I talk about, I write it. So for me to be talking, I'm just telling this story in a whole new way. It's the same story I've been writing about since 2024, about everything. I've been documenting since my book has been out. So it's never been any lapse in time. So everything that I'm talking about now, it's all real time information. So I'm going to go to a part 3 right now.